Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 60 of the Driftless Knitting Podcast. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the Groups tab. I can't believe that it is episode 60 already. Wow, that seems like a huge milestone. Number 60, that's crazy. I am coming to you from Cross Plains, Wisconsin. It is just outside Madison, where I live with my fiance, Seaver, and it is a cold April day. It has been so crazy here, weather-wise. I know it's supposed to be spring. It's almost the middle of April, but we have been below freezing most days. Once in a while we'll get up to 40 degrees, but it hasn't been warmer than 40 degrees for the last couple of weeks. And I think we're still expecting cold weather most of this upcoming week, which is just crazy. It feels like February. It's like February weather. Like it snows a little bit, and then it sleets, and then it's like 20 degrees, and then it maybe gets up to like 30. Ugh, it's just ridiculous. So it does not feel like April. I'm trying to get in like the springy mood, but we're still all wearing our winter clothes and winter coats and hats and scarves. Yeah, it's very disheartening, I'll tell you that. But otherwise, it's been a really good day. I had a crazy weekend. It's been so busy. By the way, it's Monday, April 9th, and it's about almost 3:30 in the afternoon. My weekend, let me tell you, was so busy. I think I did more this weekend than I have in like the last 2 months combined. I had two really good friends come in from out of town. They're two of the bridesmaids in my wedding coming up here, and we wanted to do kind of a weekend of just the three of us. I was going to say the two of us, the three of us. We went to a show in Madison. I'm actually wearing my, let me stand up, it would be slightly awkward here, but my Les Mis shirt. We went to see Les Mis in Madison. That is my favorite musical. It's been my favorite musical since I was like 10 years old, which is weird and kind of ridiculous because it's one of the most depressing musicals out there. But I just fell in love with the music when I heard it. My cousins and my aunt and uncle knew the show, and I heard the music through them. Fell completely head over heels in love with it, and this is the first time I've ever seen it professionally done on Broadway. This is a touring Broadway company, so it was just absolutely amazing. And so they came into town for that, to go to that with me and to kind of celebrate me getting married, because they can't come to my bachelorette party later on in the next few weeks here. That's coming up too. So we did that, and then we hung around Madison and the surrounding area on Saturday, had a really fun movie night Saturday night, and then Sunday, yesterday, I actually went to, they went home, and I went to a concert with my sister. So went to her house, we drove to Milwaukee, and we actually got to see the Decemberists, which is one of my favorite bands. Again, I came to the Decemberists kind of in a weird way. My other uncle and my aunt had gone to a concert. They had gotten like free tickets to this concert back when I was 16 years old, so almost over 10 years ago. And they had bought one of the CDs, and when they came over for dinner, my uncle put the CD on, and I, again, just completely fell in love with their music. So I've been a Decemberist fan since I was 16 years old. I have most of their CDs, and it was so incredible to see them in person. They played a lot of music from their new CD, which I'm not familiar with. I don't have that one yet. But they also played some good old favorites. Although they didn't play my absolute favorite song, I'll forgive them for that. It was still a really, really good concert, and yeah, we were jumping up and down and dancing and singing along. and just having a really good time, just my sister and I. So it was really, really nice. I am absolutely dead tired. The last 3 nights have been really late nights and early mornings. And I am glad I have today to kind of recover, but I did get up early. My sister had to go to work, so I got up and got ready and got home. I went to my dad's for a little bit, spent time with him on the way home, and then came here. I had to get a podcast in though, because last week it was also very busy. It was the day after Easter, so I wasn't able to really do much recording. Plus I hadn't knit like at all. So it would have been kind of pointless to sit up here in front of you and just babble. Although that's what I'm doing right now, so whatever. But yeah, so it did cross my mind. I'm like, oh, maybe am I gonna be too busy? Do I have too much stuff to do to record? I'm like, I cannot let 3 weeks go in between podcasts. So here I am. But I am not really that put together because I just got a workout in. That was another thing. I'm like, I have to do this because I did not feel in the mood to work out today. But guys, it's like 6 weeks until my wedding. 6 or 7 weeks. So yeah, I gotta keep it up. I can't let the momentum fade. I gotta keep working. So, plus I ate terrible this weekend. Oh my God, so bad. It was so good, but it was so bad. Oh my gosh. So many desserts, lots of cheese, which sounds weird, but that's how it goes. So yeah, so I am here for episode 60. That is what went on this last weekend, and while I didn't get a whole lot of knitting done this past week, I honestly haven't knit I haven't knit since Wednesday. Except for this afternoon when I was waiting for my dad to finish cooking us lunch. I sat at the table and I knit like half a round on my sweater. So I guess that counts, but not really. It doesn't really count. So I don't have loads and loads to show you. Any other normal type of, 2-week stretch, I would have quite a bit, I feel like. But yeah, I don't even feel like this is that much. But I will first show you, let's see. I could start with works in progress. I have 2 works in progress. I do have a little bit of acquisition, a new yarn friend that is in my life. But first, let me make a really, really fun announcement. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that last week I published my brand new sock pattern. So I've showed these to you guys a couple of times in the process of knitting, and I think I showed them last podcast because I had just finished them. And these are the fairy tree socks. And this is my new sock pattern up on Ravelry. So it's this really fun, I did mine toe up, really fun toe up sock pattern. You can do it cuff down too. The pattern in the middle translates perfectly for either toe up or cuff down. But it has this really beautiful cable along the side, both sides. So you flip it over and it's on both sides. And then a great like seed stitch. It's kind of like a seed stitch. It's like a offset, an offset seed stitch in the middle there. So you get some really, really great texture. And that cable is nice and simple. It's not too demanding, like you don't have to think about it too much. And what's nice is that the patterning kind of all happens. I mean, you're doing the texture, but the patterning doesn't happen too often where you have to stop and think about, and you have to know what row you're on, obviously, but it's not, the cable isn't too elaborate. So it's still kind of a mindless project, and it isn't really good. I don't have it on blockers because, well, they were in where I keep my hand knit socks because I've worn them already, but I did do a fish lips kiss heel right there. The pattern calls for, or I say in the pattern that I did the fish lips kiss heel, I'm not able to rewrite the directions for the heel in the pattern because of copyright. So I just reference the pattern on Ravelry and also the link where you can find it on Ravelry. So, and if you're going to do them cuff down and you prefer a heel flapping gusset, you can do that. If you prefer another, like a German short row heel, you can do that one. A sweet tomato heel, and any sort of heel that you prefer that fits you really well, you can definitely add that in. Like I said, the chart on the top of the foot, it can be added to any type of sock formula. I also have it in 3 sizes, so it's written for a size 56, stitches total, 56 stitches, 64, and 72. So you can do small, medium, or large. The small, I have it written in there as like small, medium, large, but again, we all know, what type of sock fits us best, hopefully. And I, have it written that I did the 56. I'm a size 7.5 US shoe size, and I always do a 56 stitch sock. Anything else is too baggy and stretches out way too fast, and this has always been my formula. I've always used a 56 stitch sock. So I also did a 1x1 twisted rib at the cuff and a really great stretchy bind off that I do explain in the pattern. This is the stretchy bind off, my go-to. It's a version of the knit 2 together stretchy bind off where you like knit 2 and then you knit them together and then you knit 1 more and knit them together. So that is described in the pattern, so that you can try that one if you haven't before. And yeah, I'm really, really excited about these. I loved knitting them. I already have plans for another pair. I already know what yarn I'm going to use, but I haven't bought the yarn yet. And it's been really fun to see my testers put pictures up of theirs. There are 3 projects in the in Ravelry right now, mine and then 2 others, and then I have 2 or 3 other testers who are still working on their socks. So once they're done or whatever, I'm sure they will post pictures on Ravelry and connect their project pages to the pattern. But yeah, so it is up there right now, and I hope you all, if you're interested in knitting this, I hope you all enjoy it. You will probably be seeing more of these socks in the future because, again, like I said, I had so much fun with them, and I already have plans for another pair, so yay! Yay, fairy tree socks, woo! Go get them on Ravelry. Okay, that's done. Let's talk about a work in progress. Okay, this is in my really big tote bag. It's slowly but surely getting bigger. Thank God for progress keepers, because let me tell you, projects like this, it's like it goes on forever and you feel like you have made no progress whatsoever. But putting that progress keeper where, if you move it like every day, or for me, I'll move it after I do a podcast, and then so I can show you guys how much I've made, how much progress I've made throughout the week, or 2 weeks in this case. So yeah, it's so nice, and it's so good for your self-esteem, and not self-esteem, but your morale, to actually see it grow in that sense, because otherwise, yeah, it would be so disheartening. So this, of course, is my piece of silver sweater, and this is a sweater by Vera Valimaki. I don't know how much of it you can, oh yeah, there we go. This is in the first Lane magazine. Okay, and so last time I was talking about how I wasn't sure how to pronounce this. This is the magazine I'm talking about. And I had heard another podcaster pronounce it Line. and I wasn't exactly, because it's like a Norwegian. They're actually, I think they're Finnish or Danish, but it's like the Nordic, it's like supposed to be from the Nordic area, you know, countries. So I was like, oh man, maybe you know, Lane, I'm just sounding it out like I would in English, and maybe that's not right. So I said that last week. There was a couple people who were saying like, yeah, I've heard it pronounced line it or another, you know, kind of form of that by other podcasters. But then I was watching Ellie of Skandir Knits, and she's Norwegian, and she just bought the fourth magazine, the fourth edition, not really edition, issue, I guess, and has ordered the other 3 because she kind of fell in love with the whole aesthetic and everything of it. And she's Norwegian, and she pronounced it Lane. So I really have no idea. I think I'm going to keep calling it Lane because that's what I started, like that's just what I'm used to, and I feel like it'll be easier for me. So I don't know, I just feel like, you know, you get some who, you know, pronounce it one way and you're like, oh, surely they're doing it right, and then you get someone else who's Norwegian who should be more familiar with the Nordic languages, and she pronounced it Lane. So I don't think it really matters what we call it. It's a beautiful book. So, and we'll all know what we're talking about. So I really don't think it matters. But yeah, this is the first edition, like I said, the first issue. And this is the piece of silver sweater. It is available on Ravelry as a single pattern, which is why I think I'm seeing a lot of people knitting it now. This came out like 2 years ago, I think, because they do 2 issues a year. That sounds about right. And so this is like the 2nd year of Lane. So maybe not 2 full years ago. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But yeah, now I've seen kind of a resurgence of people knitting this sweater, which has been really fun. Because I had always kind of flagged it, although I didn't think it would be the first thing I knit out of here. I had plans for other things, which I will get to eventually, but it just worked out with this yarn for me to knit that sweater. But it's been really fun to see other people making it and posting on Ravelry and on Instagram. So yeah, so I am just about done knitting the body. You can see I have this on my Addi interchangeable long lace needles, and I think I'm gonna knit a little bit longer. Oh, I wonder, I don't even know how long this is. Because it's supposed to be slightly cropped. I don't necessarily like wearing cropped sweaters, so I'm going to knit it more of like a full length for myself. The body, before you start the ribbing, is supposed to be about 10 inches, I think. Okay, and that's pretty much where I am right now. So I'll probably do another inch or so and then knit the ribbing. And I don't know how many inches you're supposed to do of the ribbing, but I basically want to add 2 to 3 inches total to the fit of the sweater so that it hits me like kind of like mid-hip instead of above my hip, like at the end of my waist, which is what it's supposed to do. I just think I'm going to get way more wear out of it and just be more comfortable in it. I'm also worried that I knit the neck too small, too low, not enough, too short. That's what I'm looking for, because this is supposed to be a few more inches. But I was thinking it would hit me way too high on my neck, so I did it, I think I only did 6.5 inches instead of like 9. I can't remember exactly what numbers, but I did it a couple inches shorter. And when I'm seeing people wearing it, the ribbing stretches out, like the ribbing comes down to like here almost, and then it folds over. So I'm like, oh shoot, I'm really worried that because I made it shorter, it's gonna stretch out and then my little turtleneck is gonna keep like flipping up on me. But I'm just gonna block it really heavily and try and get more height out of it so that it doesn't do that. But I don't know, it just looked so, like when you're knitting this thing and they tell you to knit like 10 inches of rib for your neck, you're thinking it's gonna like push up against your jawline. But yeah, hopefully that'll be okay. Otherwise, I'm really liking the sweater. It's such a mindless knit, even though it does feel like I'm not getting anywhere. It is nice to have this project on the needles. I don't have a pair of socks right now. I don't have any other sort of mindless knit. So when I'm chatting with Seaver, or we're watching TV, or I'm going, you know, to my sister's, or, you know, something like that, I can grab this and just know that I can sit and knit on it and chat. If I need to pay attention, you know, be paying attention to something else, it's not a problem. But yeah, I was kind of hoping to have it done, you know, so I could wear it during these last few chilly days, but I probably won't. I'm really hoping I won't, because that means it'll get warm faster, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep going, keep plugging along. Yeah, and this is a Miss Babs yarn. I don't know the base or the base name or the colorway, because I bought it a long time ago, but I did crack into my second like part of the skein. So this was like 1,300 yards or something like that, maybe even more, maybe 1,800. I can't remember. It's a huge skein of fingering weight yarn, and this is the majority of it. So I knit this almost entire body of the sweater and the neck on like 1/3 of the skein of yarn. This is the 2/3 one, so I finally made it to the big one. Yeah, so I have a lot of yarn left. I will be just fine when it comes to yarn. I am not worried at all, and I will have plenty of extra to do something else fun. So yeah, that's my piece of silver sweater. It's going, slowly but surely. Okay, my second work in progress is kind of new, kind of not. I'll explain that in a second. So 2 weeks ago, I showed you the beginnings of a shawl that I was hoping to make as my wedding shawl. And I was knitting it out of Knit Circus yarn trampoline in the Cottage by the Sea colorway. And about a day after I filmed that, I had knit probably about that much on it and gotten really, you know, done like maybe 3 or 4 repeats of the lace pattern. And I just kept looking at it and I didn't like it, unfortunately. It was beautiful close up. It was a very fine lace pattern, very delicate looking, but when you backed away, all it looked like was like an eyelet pattern, like yarn over knit 2 together. Even though I was doing all these like intricate crossovers and everything, it didn't have the kind of impact that I would want for, you know, this shawl. It kind of just fell flat a little bit. And I really like that lace pattern. I might use it in something else where the lace just kind of comes here and there, but for an entire long rectangular wrap, it wasn't really gonna work. So I tried out a couple other things. Well, I tried out one other thing, and that did not work out because the stitch count was wrong, and that was really frustrating. So I tore that out and restarted this wrap for the 3rd time last week. And finally, I think I've gotten it. So I've knit a little bit. Looking at it now, I'm like, oh my god, I need to knit like crazy on this because the wedding is 6 weeks away. But I really, really like it. Okay, so this is the yarn. First, let me show you that. It's this nice bluey gray, this steely blue color. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I love this color. These are the color this is the color of the bridesmaids' dresses, and I wanted to kind of coordinate and match. This is the main color for like the wedding, so all of the decorations, there's a couple accent colors, but this is the main one. So yeah, so I wanted to coordinate with that, and this is so far the shawl. So it is this really beautiful vine lace pattern. I've seen this pattern in a couple different places, and it was in I have a couple stitch dictionaries, so it was in one of those, and I, you know, just kind of made up the stitch count, how many I'd want on there. I did a seed stitch border. This is, the seed stitch border is, you know, just like I had on the last one too. I really liked the look of that, and I am doing an I-cord edging just to give it that really nice finish. You can't really tell until you go on the back. See how it's folded over like that? So that way there's no rough edge, and then I don't have to like knit on an edge. I didn't want to do like a chunky seed stitch edge on either side. I just wanted it to be a really nice like finish, really nice finished edge. How many times can I say edge? So yeah, so this is the wrong side, and this is the right side, and this is definitely not mindless, though I do have to look at the pattern. I don't have it memorized, I don't have the repeats memorized, but I can still watch TV or listen to something on the radio or watch a podcast while I'm doing it. It's not so confusing that I have to completely focus on it. I just have to remind myself of what row I'm on, like each time. So yeah, that's been going well. I'm really enjoying that. I have been focusing mostly on that, like I said. So it would have been 2 weeks ago today I started the first one. I knit on that one until maybe like Wednesday, and then ripped it out Wednesday, restarted Thursday, knit on that maybe Thursday, Friday, ripped that out, and then restarted again maybe that weekend or early that next week, and I've worked on this like all last week. So I mean, I don't have a whole lot done, but given all of the kind of flukes that were happening with this shawl and the fact that I didn't really have much knitting time, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, of this past week, this is really only maybe 3 days, 3 or 4 days, so maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of last week I knit this. So yeah, I feel like if I do get some big chunks of knitting time and I can really focus, I can make pretty good progress on it. I'm going to be semi-monogamous, though I keep thinking about other things like I want to do. My mom's birthday is coming up, and Mother's Day here in the States is in May, and they're right kind of around the same time, so I usually knit her something and get her something kind of as a combined present. And I have an idea of what I want to knit her, and I think it would be quick, but again, I'm like, oh gosh, should I knit that, or should I, you know, I just need to focus on this and get more of it done. But we'll see. I might be able to get a few more inches done, then feel good about working on something else, you know, for a little bit. Yeah, we will see. I'm so much happier with this one than I am with the other. It kind of also just fits our theme, which is very earthy and I don't want to say country, but just like rustic. Yeah, like elegantly rustic. And that is what this is, I think, with I mean, it looks like vines and leaves, and of course it will be blocked out a bit more, so it won't be so, it's very scrunchy. Yeah, scrunchy. So I like it a lot. Tell me what you guys think. I know I probably should have had half of it done already by this time, by April, I've been thinking about knitting a wedding shawl since like last October when we got engaged, and I should have started earlier. Famous last words for every single knitter out there. Okay, so those were my works in progress. I told you about my sock pattern, the fairy tree socks, and now all that's left is to talk about a new yarn friend that I got. Not last week, but the week before. So at Knit Circus right now, we are hosting a Hue Loco trunk show, which is so exciting. We have that yarn until the end of April, so if you guys are local and you want to see some Hue Loco yarn in person, I had never seen Hue Loco yarn in person, and it was so exciting to open that box and unpack it. It was kind of funny because I posted it on my stories, and Tristan of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe podcast messaged me, and she's like, oh my gosh, how much Hue Loco did you buy? Like, she thought that it was like a box like this, and I was opening it and like pulling yarn out, and she thought I had bought it like personally, because I guess she didn't have her sound on or something. I was talking about it was a trunk show, and I laughed so hard. I'm like, yeah, I wish I had bought that entire box because it's all so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I didn't buy the entire box, but I did end up buying this one right here. I'm hoping that the light picks it up. That's pretty good. It's a little darker on the screen than it is in person, but it's basically that creamy base with blues, and I love it has this like really kind of dark plummy pink, but that almost turns into like a brownish mauve in some places, and there's like a little bit of green in there by the blue, some pink, mauvey pink up there. I love that. So a little more green. Yeah, this one was just screaming my name from the moment I took it out of the box. And it is called Guru. Oh gosh, look at that. The light isn't doing it justice. So pretty. That is so pretty. This is on her 80/20 superwash merino and nylon fingering weight base. 400 yards, 100 grams. And I love it. I love an 80/20 base, especially that like plump twist in there. Oh my gosh. And so far I have this destined to be socks until maybe, or if I find a different pattern for it, but I think these would be, I'm okay with knitting my really beautiful hand-dyed yarns into socks. I think I like having really nice hand knit socks. I don't think it's a waste. I've heard that from people that they don't want to put, you know, such beautiful yarn on their feet, but I love knitting socks. It's one of my favorite things to knit, and if I enjoy the process and I enjoy wearing them, then I don't see the problem. I get more wear out of my socks than I do out of like shawls and cowls and things like that. So, you know, if I'm going to spend the money on beautiful yarn, I want to A, love working with it, and B, wear it a lot. So yeah, so these will be socks probably. I'm really excited. There's a couple other colors there that I might end up caving and bringing home before the end of the month. We'll see. There's one in particular that I'm pretty sure will come home with me. If it does, then I will definitely be sure to show you guys that. Most likely next week, because I don't think I'll be able to hold off from buying it for too much longer. But yeah, so I think that's about it for me. Again, if you guys are local, come in and check out the Hue Loco trunk show at the Knit Circus store. We are also having a movie afternoon, I should say, on Saturday, April 28th. I believe that's a Saturday, or it's the Saturday in that week. I think that we're going to start the movie at 1, and then we're open until 4, so you can just leave when the movie's over, or, you know, stay, knit. Basically, we're going to be providing popcorn and maybe some beverages, like sodas and sparkling water, not anything else, because we're not allowed to do that. And we're just going to knit. The movie that we're going to be showing is Princess Bride, which is probably, we can all agree, is one of the best movies out there. I love that movie so much, and I'm so excited to kind of screen that and, you know, just kind of have a group of knitters there. We have a lot of Princess Bride themed yarn at Knit Circus, so that'll be kind of fun to hear the quotes. And yeah, maybe you'll get like extra points or something. Not that we're doing a contest or a giveaway or anything, but yeah, if you knit with Knit Circus Princess Bride yarn while you're watching the movie. So if you are local and you're free on the 28th of April, come to our movie day, and that should be a lot of fun. We are also having a lot of other really cool events coming up in the next like couple weeks, couple months at Knit Circus. So if you're in the Madison area or like mid-central Wisconsin, even, you know, I guess you can drive from, we have people who drive in from Iowa and Illinois, so it's not that far away. So if you want to spend a day, we're going to be having some really cool events. Keep checking the website and sign up for our newsletter, the Knit Circus newsletter, and you'll be able to keep up with those. I will be at most of them because I work the store. I'm the one that's primarily in the store, so yeah, I will most likely be there at all of those fun things. So I'll get to meet you. Yay! Anyway, I am so happy that you guys took the time to check my podcast out. If you are a new subscriber, there are several new subscribers in the last couple weeks, so welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing and giving my podcast a chance. If you liked the video, you could give it a thumbs up. That would be great. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know I say that every single time in every single episode, but it is 100% true. And I'm so glad that you guys came to watch the podcast. So thank you guys so much. I hope that I will be back next Monday. If not, I'll be back the Monday after. We may have to make this every other week thing kind of the norm for now, just because of all the stuff that's going on, all good stuff, but it's really busy around here, and the fact that because of that I don't really get much knitting done. So giving myself 2 weeks in between podcasts just kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. So yeah, maybe expect that unless I find myself having a bunch of free time and some free time next Monday to record again. So whenever I see you again, I look forward to that. And until then, I hope you do things that make your heart happy. I will be doing the same, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.